Hello there. I'm in Stirling today, and I somehow sense that the locals have never seen a camera before, so I'm probably going to have to spend a good part of the day explaining it all to them. You know, tripod, it's on a tripod, it's got 3 legs and it takes moving images. Anyway, as I say, I'm in Stirling. We're approaching that time of year in Scotland when the whole country reaches a pinnacle of Scottishness and we embark upon a gastronomic frenzy that involves eating a lot of turnip. But we're not eating any turnip today. I'm going to explore Stirling. Now, back in 1787, Robert Burns also explored Stirling. But I'm just not sure whether when he was here he ate any turnip.
Today's walk begins in Stirling's Backwalk, an uphill route that skirts the town's 16th century walls. In places there are stairs leading to bricked up doorways, a bastion with gun loops, and holes where birds rest their weary wings and coo at passers-by. It stands to reason that a structure this old will have seen many alterations over the centuries, and what was once a crucial defensive wall is now a mere curiosity, although a formidable curiosity at that. The smooth stone of the old jail wall, seen here, is very different to the rough, rubbly surface of the town wall, and locals at the time were somewhat up in arms when this section was removed in the 1840s.
I was going to say a few words just at this spot here. It's old bowling green beside Cowan's Hospital, but it all seems to be kind of barricaded off here, and I see this quite a lot in various places in Scotland where there's just a gradual decline in stuff for visitors, for want of a better phrase. I mean, you used to be able to go onto this cobbled section past the 2 cannon there onto a very short stretch of what you might call battlements on the old town wall, and you've got the old bowling green here, but as I say, it's all shut off. There must be something unsafe about it all. I just wonder how long it's been like this and how long it will take to right it again. The bowling green here is one of the oldest in Scotland. If you look at the first edition Ordnance Survey map, about 1860-ish, you'll see it's mapped on there. And even if you go into the National Library of Scotland's website, in their map section, there's an even older map. I think it's 1725, and again the bowling green is shown, and I think it actually dates to 1712 when it was created. So it's been there for a long time. Whether it's still a bowling green these days, or just a square bit of ground that used to be a bowling green, I don't know. There is a wee hut there. I'd like to think it was still in use as a bowling green, but the grass, if you were to do any bowling just now, you would need to cut the grass. The cannons, there's two of them here, and these were bought from the army that occupied Stirling Castle, bought by Stirling Council and placed in various locations around the town. There's two here, there's two at the foot of Broad Street, and there's two on Moat Hill, which we'll see later on. I dare say they were sort of dotted about the place to make the town look more interesting, perhaps give the impression that there was always a bit of a kind of risk that there might be another siege. And certainly the castle has been under siege on quite a number of occasions. I think on Moat Hill, where we'll end, I think, and I could be wrong here, but feel free to correct me, but I think the Jacobite army, or a certain portion of it, set up cannon on Moat Hill and fired a few cannonballs in the direction of the castle. I think at least one of them kind of overshot. They couldn't be that good at aiming. But the occupants of the castle at that time must have kind of took it for so long and thought, oh, that's it, we've had enough. And they fired their own cannons in the direction of the Jacobite cannon, and pretty much blew them away. But yeah, it's just a shame this bit's closed off. I'd like to think the next time I'm here it'll be opened up again.
Beside Cowan's Hospital is the Church of the Holy Rood, with parts dating back to the 15th century. It was here in 1567 that a young James Stuart was crowned King James VI of Scotland. He was 1 year old, and no doubt babbled and bubbled contentedly through the whole majestic ceremony. And so it's time for lunch. Heading down Castle Wynd, we pass Argyll's lodgings and Mar's work and make for Broad Street. At the foot of this wide thoroughfare sits the Darnley Coffee House. Best soup in Scotland.
Well, that was the castle, and you could spend quite a few hours in there exploring every nook and cranny. Some of the recently renovated rooms are quite magnificent. And of course you've got the castle's esplanade, and the view from there is just wonderful, right across the River Forth and the old bridge towards the Wallace Monument and the Ochil Hills. It's worth coming up to the esplanade just for that view. And also in the esplanade you've got the statue of Robert the Bruce, King Robert the Bruce, who stands guard to make sure that no one comes up to the esplanade and starts waving the Scottish flag. We can't have that sort of thing, can we? You may have wondered what was prattling on about back there when I said that the statue of King Robert the Bruce was guarding the esplanade to make sure no one waved the Scottish flag. Well, last year in 2018, during that year there was a lot of marches in support of Scotland's independence. And as a part of all that, there was some folk who decided to embark on a big long walk. And I think, and again I could be wrong, but I think it was a 500-mile walk, perhaps after the Proclaimers song. They were going to end their walk at probably what was going to be the biggest gathering and march for Scottish independence in Edinburgh. And before they got to Edinburgh, they stopped off in Stirling here. And I don't know how many people there were, but I imagine it was probably just a handful of folk arrived on the castle esplanade, and a Scottish flag was waved. And those in charge of the castle decided that this was not acceptable, and the police were called. And it's quite, if you check, go on the internet and check newspaper stories about it, it's actually all quite unbelievable. And the story that Historic Environment Scotland gave regarding the incident was that, you know, that the people who had gathered, and as I say, it must have been just a handful of folk, didn't have permission to gather there in Esplanade. Oops. And the waving of the Scottish flag, the saltire, was political. I mean, that's just unbelievable. And I kind of joked at the time that perhaps they were going to be removing the statue of King Robert the Bruce, because what he did in fighting for Scotland's independence could also be construed as political. Hello there. Right. Right. So, you know, that's the story. So we're just carrying on in this back walk here, heading towards Gowan Hill, and we'll end the walk on Moat Hill. Well, this is Moat Hill, and this is the beheading stone. Folk were taken up here and beheaded way back in the old days. Probably the most notable was Duke of Albany in 1425. Murdoch Stewart and his two sons were beheaded here for treason. It's not clear rather if this is the real beheading stone or whether it's just a stone that somebody's thought might be the beheading stone and they've put it under this iron cradle or cage here. But like the Castle Esplanade, if you come up here the views are pretty wonderful. Again, right across the River Forth, looking straight down the old bridge in fact, and way beyond towards the Wallace Monument and Ochil Hills. I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed the walk. I hope you have too. I'm Eddie Burns. I'll see you again.